Tomorrow, the president, he's going to travel to Georgia to hold a massive rally supporting Senator Perdue and Loeffler. It is 1 month and a day when those two runoff elections take place. Questions about Georgia's voting integrity now have increased after newly released surveillance footage from election night has obviously raised a ton of questions. In response to the video, Lara Trump tweeted out, I don't know who needs to hear this, but legitimate ballots do not come packed in a suitcase. Yeah. Good point. Lara Trump joins us now. You know, it doesn't come packed in a suitcase, and it doesn't come after you throw the poll watchers out just before that. And then the same people that pulled them out are the same people that then spent the time, apparently a couple of hours, counting it. And ABC even tweeted out that night that it had happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's so outrageous, Sean. The fact that we are here in December and we are having to point these things out is mind-boggling. But look, we want every legitimate vote counted. And the problem we have is that we have shown that there is massive fraud all across the country. And Georgia in particular, it has some really egregious voter fraud. 15,000 people voted in the state of Georgia that don't even live in the state. They had moved out of the state, yet they voted. We think that there are around 6,000 ballots in each one of those suitcases that people saw on that crazy video being pulled out. There were 4 suitcases they pulled out, and if that's the case, that's 24,000 votes. If you take both of those things, Donald Trump overwhelmingly wins the state of Georgia. But we've seen this all across the country. We continue to point out the fraud. We continue to have affidavits signed by hundreds of people showing what they saw in terms of voter fraud. And look, we're fighting all the way to the end. I want to make it very clear to the American people, this is not over. So don't for a second think that Joe Biden is going to be sworn in on January 20th.
You know, and everything also is so difficult. Now, I know the president is going down to Georgia. And by the way, I'm glad he's going because we all know, and it's obviously about the whole country, and Georgia holds the fate of the republic right now in their hands. But, you know, we're also talking about the president's legacy. We're also talking about family harassment. Look what happened to Ivanka this week. Look at what you and Eric have lived through, and Don and everybody has lived through, and Barron has lived through, and obviously the president, first lady, and Barron have lived through. All of you have gone through this. I mean, I looked at this. It says fair market rate. Charge fair market rate. Why are they now harassing her for 5 hours?
Well, it's because her last name is Trump. And look, the reality is these folks are so deep in the swamp, Sean, that their goal is that no honest and truthful people ever become part of government again, because the jig is up if that's the case. And they know that Donald Trump has held them accountable. Donald Trump has exposed all of these people. We even go so far with the Trump Organization to actually donate the money to the Treasury that is spent by any foreign entities at a Trump property. That is not a requirement. That's something we do so that it is total transparency. There isn't even the faintest hint of impropriety, and yet they still come after us. It doesn't matter. All that matters to these people is that our last name is Trump, and they want to do the worst thing possible to all of us. But let me tell you something. That does not mean for a second that we stop fighting. That means that this fight is even more important now than it ever was before. We're talking about election integrity right now. It's not just about right now, Sean. This is about the future of America. People need to know that our election system is fair and that legitimate votes only are the ones that get counted. And good people need to be able to run for office. This sort of thing shouldn't happen to any family or any person for that matter.
We better get it right, or no Republican will ever win again. Let me be very clear here. Everybody needs to understand. This is you're 100% right. All right. So we've heard rumblings over the years. Maybe one day Don Jr. would run for president. But I don't know. I keep reading these articles. You're originally from North Carolina. Your family's in North Carolina. I keep hearing rumblings that maybe in 2 years, as a Senate seat open, your name keeps coming up.
Well, look, North Carolina is my home state. It has always been and will always be my home. My family all still lives there. And it would be a true honor to be able to run for a position like that for the Senate seat. But look, I am still very much focused right now, Sean, on this election we are currently in. I believe that Donald Trump overwhelmingly won this election. We've got to prove that. Unfortunately, we have to work 2 and 3 times as hard as most other campaigns and candidates do. But you know what? The fight is not over. We continue on. So we're going to focus on that for the time being.
Nobody that's watching this believes that what we are seeing and what we're hearing from real witnesses and whistleblowers in any way gives us confidence. None of this has been fair. No objective American would come to that conclusion. But really not a fair question. But just I am reading it. I gotta ask every question out there, and we'll continue to follow it. Obviously, a lot at stake for the country and our future. Thank you, Lara Trump.